All right, and we are
Yeah,
live
that's
for the
next.
first time since September. And well, actually, I can't remember if you did your every Wednesday with Evan since September. I think this is either one of the shows the first time since September, because every Wednesday with
Yeah.
Evan did not, which it became every week with Evan, and it just became like
Never.
yeah.
The
And
NWE. Instead of
it
the
should have been
NWA, it's the
EVE.
NWE.
Yeah, it should have been
Never with Evan.
Yeah. So, well, I was just thinking like EWE is almost like EVE, which is in the middle of never, but
It's true.
not quite, almost there. So, we were talking a little shop, and I thought that it might be something people were interested in. They were thinking about doing their own YouTube or their own podcast, and we're talking about microphones and getting a good sound. And if you're watching the video, you'll see that both Evan and I have mics down at the bottom. We spared you the 10 minutes or so of trying to figure out how to get Evan's mic going, something like that. And you can see I have, I guess I shouldn't have I feel like the weather person, like trying to
Green
it's like
screen.
there actually are real shoes back there, but trying to get like my hand under them while watching the video is kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. There you'll see some shoes on the post. That thing is like a broken, I used to sit on that, a broken bar stool. And I stopped using it because I kept having to fix it and it just doesn't work. And so I sat it over in the corner to I don't know. We don't have a fireplace. I don't know if I'm going to burn it. It's probably just going to crash. Marvin likes to go in there and hide, but it's you're not hiding if you're in there. I mean, it's got holes in it. And some cats, they like to play through railings and stuff. He doesn't play in there. He just goes there and thinks he's invisible. And I don't know. He's not invisible. So anyway, but rather than have a lonely bar stool back there, I put some cleats on there. I thought that was topical. But yeah. So anyway, so we both now have FIFA 16, and at some point we're probably going to play online. And I figured we could chat a little bit about what we want to do. People could get a sense of how FIFA 16 is different than the other games in the previous games. One thing I noticed, I don't think this was in 15. Of course, I didn't have 15, but they have this draft system now, which is kind of cool, except at least for the first entry, it's 15,000 coins. That seems like a lot of coins. I mean,
you had to pay 15,000 to get it.
The first time you're in, you get one free draft.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's 15,000 coins to get in.
Right. I think that if you play with it against people, I think that you can unlock another draft by winning. But I haven't ever done it because I don't want to play online with my draft team, even though I guess at some levels that would be fun, but I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, so you went through the draft once, or?
Yes, I went through the draft once.
Then played the tournament, or?
There was a tournament with it. I thought.
Yeah, you go through the draft, and then if you win 4 games in a row,
that's what it was.
You get the prize. So
I had to play online against people online for those 4 games.
No, you don't.
Oh, well, maybe I did it. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember.
Yeah, you should look into it. So you should get one free go at it, and you get a pretty good team going through the draft. I ended up with a lot of left backs and right backs, but
I think that's something that EA wanted to add into all of their fantasy, which I guess at this point just counts Madden and FIFA. NHL Live, I guess EA is still doing an NHL game, but I don't know I'm assuming they have fantasy in there somehow, but I haven't played an NHL game since, 2002.
Yeah, it's been a while for me as well. And they don't do an NBA game anymore?
They haven't for a few years. They've been promising to come out with an updated NBA Live, but they haven't really done it. They might have done it for this year, or I think they may have done it, but it was awful. The 2K came in and kind of took over basketball, so everybody just plays. Well, at this point, NBA 2K16.
I should ask if you can hear. I did think about this when I put it in, but I didn't think about it right before we started. If you could hear my laundry going.
like almost tiny little white noise.
Okay.
There is an NBA Live 16, but not rated very highly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I haven't looked at anything except the FIFA Ultimate Team or FUT for people that are, in the know, FUT. So I've played like 26 games on that. I went through this week's tournament. I didn't see any new tournaments when I first started, but I hadn't set up like the verified account yet. So maybe, and then like I verified my account and all of a sudden I got one. So I don't know if that was just timing or if
I haven't seen them either, but I don't know. I'm assuming I verified my account a long time ago, but maybe I also have to do that too. I haven't been doing FUT lately, so I'd have to go take another look. But at first, I didn't notice any new tournaments.
Yeah, so the tournaments, there are a lot fewer of them this time.
Yes, I've noticed. There are a lot fewer of them, but I was hoping to still have the weekly.
Well, there are still the teams of the week, and then like there was a team of the year tournament. I'm not sure why it was a team of the year tournament, just a tournament to go along with the team of the year. I mean, I played, I think Sporting, one of the Portuguese teams. I played Arsenal. I played like, top level European teams, but I didn't play like a FUT team of the year or anything like that. I think I played Dortmund in the fight. Yeah, I played Dortmund in the final.
Teams of 2015. I don't
know, but there are team of the year cards that you can get. I don't have any of them, but there was a tournament to go along with that, and so and then you can still play the seasons. Now, one of the things that they had like the seasons outside of FUT, and I did that a lot with FIFA 14. But I guess what were you thinking? Because I've never played against anyone that I know on FIFA, because when I was playing FIFA 14, all the people I knew in law school, they got their PS4s or Xboxes or whatever, and I still had the PS3, so I couldn't play with them. I've played online plenty. I just not set up a match or anything. So how are you thinking was the best way to do this?
Well, they have. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do that, but I think that they have a seasons co-ed that you can do. I say co-ed. Co-op, yeah.
Yeah, but co-ed's interesting. I mean, so they do have the new women's, and I played one game of that just to check it out. Can you do that online at all, or is it just?
Yeah, I think. Okay. Well, the only online I've done is through FUT, and there's no way to do the women there that I've noticed, unless they're coming out with some kind of tournament draft or something that you can do with just women.
There's nothing right now. There might be
nothing that I could see.
Yeah.
So the only time I've seen the women is I played with them on the demo. But I think that's the only time I've actually played with the women, because they don't have leagues in the game.
Yeah, it's just the World Cup teams. I don't know how many of the World Cup teams, if it's all the teams that were in this past World Cup.
I don't think it's that many, because you had to get licensing rights for a lot of them, and a lot of them didn't do it for various reasons. I mean, a lot of the players, or some of the players for some of the teams, are still in college. So they weren't allowed to be in the game.
Right.
But I haven't looked at. I mean, I've been doing FUT. I did FUT for a long time in career mode, and that's basically what I've been doing.
But the career mode is another thing that you can't do online, at least not traditionally.
Yeah, and there's still. I mean, there's the career mode player or the career mode manager. Neither of those are online. Let me see if I can.
Well, and there was a way in 14 to join like a club,
Yeah,
so
that was a lot of fun, actually. I joined with like 2 random guys I'd never met, and just played through some games. I mean, it was pretty entertaining to do that.
Yeah. So is that still there? I haven't made it.
If it is, it's nowhere near as big of a deal as it was.
Oh, okay.
Because
I was thinking that would be the perfect thing for us to like just have our team. We could like recruit people for it, and that could be our team. But if that doesn't exist, then
it's really, I think, pushed more towards foot than anything else. I mean, they still have the player mode, and I still think you can create you still create your own player to go through player mode. But the thing in FIFA 14 was that was like your pro, and you could do them online. You could transfer him over to the World Cup game, and he could captain the country on the World Cup game.
So in the separate game, because that's really cool. Because I never played the separate game. I mean, they have their own little like foot thing that they had within FIFA 14, but I never had the separate game.
Well, the separate games I've learned they're just nowhere near as good because I guess it's just one competition. It's just the World Cup. Like you can qualify with.
Yeah, so it's the qualification tournaments as well.
Yeah, like you could play through all qualifications.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of the mindset like once I've won the World Cup with New Zealand, I'm not going to go back and do it again. I mean,
you're not going to go back and do it with Bahrain or
Malaysia. I guess I could try that. I could try to win it with every single team, but
you could do it from like. I was thinking you could go through each qualification, so you'd have New Zealand would be Oceania, and then Do they have all of the Oceania teams in that game?
They had a good bit. I don't think if they had all of them.
Tahiti,
they had Tahiti. I'm fairly certain.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look, but I mean, it had a lot. It had a real lot. I think every team that is a member of FIFA was in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, you're not going through FIFA World Cup qualification if you're not in FIFA. And just for people that are like, well, of course they're in FIFA. No, not everyone is in FIFA. The whole non-FIFA stuff is sort of CONIFA is one, and there have been others, but that's not worth getting into at this point because none of those countries or wannabe countries are, none of those are in any of the games that we're talking about. So,
right.
You know what would be really nice? Speaking of things that are not in the games, to get like the NASL. Especially USL. So the NASL has they have their beef with US Soccer and with the MLS, but USL, they have the agreement with the MLS, so you can loan players. Basically they use a lot of the USL teams as their academies. Again, that's a complicated subject we don't need to get into, but it'd be really nice to be able to decide, well, I'd like this player to go play, if I was playing with DC United, I'd like for this player to go play with the Richmond Kickers because that's their E3 affiliate.
Or at least loan out, loaning isn't a thing as much in the MLS as it is, I guess, in Europe. But
technically they are loans. I think that's how it's structured, actually. That's the way, because they have to do file the paperwork with USSF and with FIFA as far as where the players go. So I think that's how they're structured. But
that's interesting. But that's the way I would want it. I'd have a player who's a 57 and never going to actually break into the starting lineup, but he's really young. Then send him off somewhere other than Ireland.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the thing is about, some of the USL affiliates are not super close, but Richmond is pretty close to DC. So, if DC needs those players, they can just recall them at any time, basically. They try not to because they really want the players to feel like they're Richmond Kickers players. And there are some rules about, times when they can and can't recall the players. But the USL season ends. Maybe they can't recall them. They can't recall them and then send them back. Maybe they can just recall them the once. But their season ends in August or something. So those players are back for the end of the MLS season. So they get some PT, and then if there's injuries towards the end of the seasons or whatever, then they can they're sort of restock the lineups a little bit.
Yeah, I think the only, not the only, but the main reason I want them in is to add more teams to the Open Cup.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be really nice.
The Open Cup comprises of just the MLS teams, and
Right.
it's just
Yeah, which is, I mean, of course, it's true in probably every country, but certainly in England. I mean, there's like 750 teams that enter the FA Cup, and it's only the top 4 leagues that play that are in FIFA. So, it's not realistic in that respect. But in other games have more. Like Football Manager. I know like that Football Manager goes down to like Serie C in Italy. I don't know. About the other places, but I'm sure they have a lot more lower leagues. They may just not have as many like real players. I don't know enough about Football Manager because I've never played it. I've just heard people talk about it.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't played it either, so I wouldn't be able to know. I kind of have a bad view of it or a negative view of it because it seems like what they were comparing to like what used to be the NFL coach game or the Madden coach or whatever it was. It was some coaching game, and it was just not nearly as good as like an actual Madden. And so I'm like, well, this manager game wouldn't be as good as like FIFA, so why even bother with it?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think I would like something like that. The problem I have with manager mode in the career mode is it's too easy. It's either too easy or too hard to get players. So I remember in one of the FIFAs, probably like 13 or something like that, maybe just 12. I don't know. But anyway, one of the earlier ones, even though I was winning, the Champions League with Malmo every year, I couldn't get players to come. Like I would throw money at them and they would be like, your league is not good enough. I'm like, well, the rest of Europe is not good enough for me. So,
which is, it's hard to say how realistic that actually is. Like if there was a team from a smaller league that did, and they were off, I mean, I would think that if you were winning Champions League and you had the money to pay them, then why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously other reasons like climate, not wanting to live there.
I mean, well, maybe that's something for Sweden. I mean, it is cold, but yeah. And I don't know if like if I had picked like Ajax or one of the Portuguese teams, if it would be the same situation. But
I would think so, but they probably have some sort of ranking.
Yeah, and those are more realistic. I mean, Ajax has won the Champions League in the last 25 years, and Portuguese teams have won in the last 15 years. So no team from Sweden has ever won, although Malmo did make it to the final in 1979, and they lost to Nottingham Forest. But that's the furthest any Swedish team has ever gotten. Okay, so we haven't really decided anything about what we're going to end up doing, and that's fine.
Well, I did find this is on a strategy guide and walkthrough by, I can't even pronounce this guy's name, on GamePressure.com, but he has about 50 slides of different modes or different things going on in FIFA 16, and one of his is a co-op season. He has an online season and a co-op season, and the co-op season seems to be just 2-on-2. I know in FIFA 14, you could have a whole squad, and that was kind of their big push was, you're 11 and play somebody else's 11. This looks like he states that it's on a 2-on-2 system, so it says you start by selecting a friend from your list, and after that you just start looking for a match. And it's just like playing, I guess, together, like if we were right beside each other.
Yeah. Can you play foot on, like, that's always single player, right? Or against someone?
The only way, I guess, it wouldn't be is if it was somehow implemented in the draft mode, but I doubt that they would go that far.
Yeah. And even if you have a person who's like in the same room with you, can you then do 2 players in foot or no?
I think you can at that point. I think the reason you couldn't do it across on different consoles, and by different consoles, I just mean 2 different Xbox Ones.
Right. People would just have 2 different
that,
foot teams that way when they did that, potentially.
Well, I mean, it would be. I guess you would have to pick whose team you were using and all that stuff. And
I mean, that's not a complicated process. You just
but pick. It was probably just. I don't know. It seems a little bit odd.
No, I get that.
I think that the general idea would be you've got your team and I've got my team, and you can play each other. I don't even know in foot if you can specifically play somebody else's team while you're both online.
Well, there's a way to play your friend's team, but
but I think you just play their squad as an AI. I don't think you actually play them online.
Oh, okay.
There might be a way to do it, but that seems to be what I remember.
Interesting. The other thing that we haven't brought up at all is I've heard a lot about Twitch. I've never used it. It wasn't built in to the PS3 or to FIFA 14, or at least the PS3 version of FIFA 14. Have you done much with that or anything with that? Or?
I've definitely watched people on Twitch. I've looked into it. I may have gone as far to sign up an account, but I don't have any kind of recording system.
Because I was thinking that was built in. It's not built in?
Not a camera.
So
there was a camera built. There should be a camera built in if you own the Kinect system, if I remember correctly. I think it had a camera built in. But as far as the Xbox One itself, I don't think so.
I was thinking you watched the gameplay on Twitch, but
you do watch the gameplay, but
you also have to have a camera.
I don't think you have to.
Okay.
But everybody that I've watched has
a camera.
I don't think you have to.
I mean, we could probably
definitely
do just audio on Twitch. I mean, I'm thinking we could have a Sportazine Twitch account, and I don't know how we would do, if multiple people if that would easily work to have multiple people accessing the same account. But I mean, that's something that I'm definitely interested in trying to set up, but I haven't gotten started on it. So I've just been playing enough to actually have something to say when we had this conversation.
Yeah, well, it says broadcasting lets friends watch and interact with your game all in real time. To start, just say Xbox broadcast. That's if you have the Kinect. But you can go
into the system and do FIFA 16 on Twitch. I haven't actually clicked on that. I just saw that it existed, so I thought you might know a little bit about it. But.
No, I've not looked that far into it. I mean, looking based on the way that the I guess the screenshots that they have is that the guy doesn't have a camera set up. He's got his gameplay, and on the right side, it does have his picture. So on his Twitch broadcast, it says broadcast preview. On his Twitch broadcast, he has a picture of himself in the bottom right corner, but on his screen, he just has the game, and he's got his Twitch kind of app on the right side of the screen. I don't think you have to, but I'll look into it and see.
Oh. So at some point in the not too distant future, my cat sitter is going to come by and drop off my keys. So we should probably go ahead and wrap things up. That way I'm not having to run out the door like that. But was there anything else that you wanted to talk about briefly or just mention before we close up?
No, I don't. I mean, we covered a good portion of it. We haven't talked about, at least on here, how the actual game plays.
That is true.
But that could take a while, so we can save that.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll have to figure out offline probably when we're going to set things up, or if we want to schedule something. If we set something up with Twitch, maybe we could do something weekly or something. But that will be for another time. For right now, this has been another Free Culture Sports Show. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned and find out when we'll be playing on FIFA 16.